Welcome back to the Kilby Life. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you today about YouTube, my life after the Elimination Diet, different things that are going on with our kids, accountability, and just some life updates.
I don't want to die anytime soon. Got to do something about this. I did something. I finally did something. Now I think I'm gonna live. Wake up!
Before I do that, I want to say thank you to Element for sponsoring this video. Element is a fantastic electrolyte drink that gives me all the good stuff that I want and none of the junk. Right now I've got a cold, and drinking Element is a great way to support my body and make sure I have those electrolytes and give me that extra boost I need for chasing my kids around when I am feeling run down. For just a little bit longer, they have this chocolate medley out. It has chocolate raspberry, chocolate mint, and chocolate chai. They are delicious to drink hot in the wintertime. Each little packet has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And of course, they have some fantastic cold flavors like watermelon, raspberry, grapefruit is a great one that I enjoy. If you order using our link below, it's drinkelement.com/Kilby, DRINKLMNT.com/Kilby. They will send you one of these free sample packs so you can try 8 different flavors before you commit to a bigger box of any of them. Although I don't think you can go wrong with them. I like to use them again when I'm not feeling well. I also like to give them to my kids to help support them when they are feeling sick and run down too. But they are fantastic and a great way to get electrolytes on any diet that you're on, from vegan to carnivore. They will help support your body and give you all the extra boost and goodness that you need. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is YouTube. Erin challenged me in December to do 4 videos a month for January, February, and March, and I have really enjoyed getting on here and sharing my story and thinking through some of the different ways that I think about food. I'm thinking about my diet, things that are going on in my life, and even just having to explain them or being given the opportunity to explain them, I think really kind of makes me think about my why and solidify my thought process behind them. So I have really enjoyed that. So for everybody that's been watching those videos, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me and leaving comments and chatting with me. And of course, I want to say thank you to Erin too for editing my videos, because I don't know how to do that part yet. So we'll see. I'm also almost at the point where most of the time I look in the right place. So that makes editing just a little bit easier. I'm getting there. I will continue to get there. We will see. One of the big things that I've been talking about is the Elimination Diet. And this started back in October when I did an all beef diet for about 3 weeks. And I was doing it because I was having some skin rash issues that I thought were food related. And so I narrowed down what I was eating to just beef and then added in cabbage. So I did beef and cabbage for the longest time and tried different foods with that to see if my skin reacted, if there was anything going on. And I think I saw a difference with eggs and dairy. Now, I went to an allergist. They tried a bunch of different minerals and chemicals and things that we find in products that we use, like laundry soap and lotions and stuff like that. And I reacted pretty strongly to 5 of them. So now I'm trying to figure out products that I can use that don't contain those ingredients, which is kind of a mess. And since I switched back to eating normally for me, which is low carb, low sugar, but I added back in eggs, I've added back in some dairy, my weight has gone back up about 5 pounds. And I don't know if that's just from the freedom of having other things where I'm not trying to avoid eggs and dairy and gluten anymore, or if that's from inflammation from specifically eggs and dairy that I think I was kind of maybe reacting to at least a little bit anyway. Working on that, trying to figure out what's affecting my body and why. And I'm still trying to get some healing for my skin. It's gotten significantly better, but it isn't completely healed yet, which is a little bit frustrating because I was hoping once I swapped out most of the products that are near my skin, like laundry soap, even deodorant, those kinds of things. Once I swapped out those products that are either going on my skin all day or like literally being put on my skin, lotion, those kinds of things, I was hoping to see very quick healing and clearing up, and I'm not quite there yet. So hopefully we'll get there, but it is improving, and I'm still curious if the eggs and dairy, even though I didn't come back with any blood, like on my blood work, it didn't come back any allergies to those, if that's still affecting my body in a negative way too, and if maybe I need to cut those out again to see if that helps. I've also, in those videos, been talking about the kids a lot, and I've been so grateful for the feedback that you guys are working on ways to make a low carb diet more accessible for your kids as well. And obviously that's something I've talked about a lot. It's a struggle to figure out where are the lines, how far do I want to take it with them, how far do they want to go. I mean, I have one kid that if we have hamburgers, she's like, do not give me a bun, just give me the meat. And so respecting all of those kinds of different viewpoints. And so one thing that I have been struggling with is I get in a rut with food is once I find something that I like, I tend to stick with it and tend to keep it in rotation until I just can't stand it anymore. Case in point, I've been eating beef and cabbage since October and November, almost every day, and I'm still eating it almost every day. So for me, that's fine. But for the kids, I want to see if I can come up with some different recipes for them that incorporate things that they like, but don't have all the junk. I found that in some of the low carb, especially kid-friendly cookbooks, there's a lot of replacement things in there that I also just don't love. Different flours, different, just kind of strange ingredients. They're not, I mean, they're probably whole foods. Obviously people are saying, yeah, these are fine. They're not high glycemic food or anything like that. But if I can stick to whole food swaps, like swapping out noodles for cauliflower or spaghetti squash or something like that, where it's a kind of a one-to-one swap and not making a concoction out of other things that we don't normally eat or don't normally have in the house, I want to try and do that. So my goal last summer was to make our own sandwich bread out of sourdough, which I've done. So my goal this summer is to see if I can find some more recipes to add to our rotation that are kid-friendly, but also that I feel good about feeding them. The other thing that can be really hard with kid-friendly food is a lot of it is filled with cheese, and I don't like cheese, so then again, I'm back to making multiple meals for all of us. And I have a couple kids that don't love cheese, that they'll eat it, but it's not their favorite. And so I want to stay away from that as much as I can too, where it can be a complement to it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in the dish for the dish to work. So we also spent a lot of time talking about accountability and guidelines and boundaries for diets and the way we're eating. And man, I am still struggling with wanting sweet things. It's like I cannot get out of this mindset of I've earned it or my body needs it, when really, even just last night, I texted a friend, I said, I ate 2 small chocolates because I'm stress eating. I'm going to stop now because they didn't help anyway. You know, so it doesn't help me feel better. If anything, I feel worse. But man, that pull is still there and it gets really frustrating. That is something I would like to conquer, to have conquered at this point, that I think I'll continue to battle with for a while. But hopefully that will get under control. And it made me think too about, you know, I talked about two-sided fences and where my boundaries are. And yeah, sometimes it's okay to go around them. But do I need to draw those boundaries again a little bit further? Do I need to spell them out a little bit better so that I don't have quite so many temptations or things that are just a hard no, where I can say, you know what, I'm just not going to do that. I've predetermined I'm not going to do that. It's not even a thing. So that's something I'm still kind of thinking about and wrestling through and trying to figure out where those boundaries are going to lie for me long term. I mean, I've done the elimination diet, I've done some carnivore diets, and having those strict guidelines has been really beneficial for me to know, one, that I can do it, but also to know, like, how does my body work well? What actually fuels my body? What makes me feel like garbage the next day? And so having done those stricter diets, if I can remember, I feel better when, you know, I'm not eating junk. I'm not eating even like junk. I think my body would do better, and long term I would like myself. I've like how I'm feeling better. That's what I'm trying to say. But I found that at night I have a much harder time restraining myself, and then the next morning, if I so I had 2 pieces of chocolate last night, then in the morning I'm like, oh, why did I even do that? Like, I know better than that. And so also knowing, okay, so I need to be careful when I'm tired, when I'm frustrated, when I'm stressed out. Like, obviously, I think we all have those times where we're like, if I'm not careful here, it's not going to go well. And so having an accountability buddy that I can text, and I did text her last night, I'm like, I'm going to stop now, but this is what happened, really helps. It really helps me think about, why am I doing it? And do I want that piece of chocolate bad enough that I'm going to have to confess to my friend that I ate it, you know, or whatever it is. And so that it's been really good. It's been, again, doing these videos has been really good, making me think about what I want this to look like for myself going into the future. Now, there have been 2 times a year that I have traditionally done carnivore challenges. One is in June and one is in October. Those have been where they've kind of fallen before. And I don't know if coming up in June we'll do another one. Actually, I think last time it was in May because my sister-in-law's wedding was in June and I wanted to feel really good for that. So we will see. I mean, I think it would not be unheard of for me to do another challenge like that. Again, just to reset the way I'm thinking about food and knowing what does my body really need and what are things that are okay sometimes and what do I really just need to say that is a no-go, never food because it doesn't make me feel good. And even better if it doesn't make me feel good right in the moment. We'll see. So, life updates. I am currently battling a cold and not loving it. I feel super run down, and I think that's been a contributing factor to the stress I've been feeling and just kind of the frustration and just the overwhelm where everything just seems like a big deal and life is coming at me. And I have realized that I don't make the best decisions in this state. It can be really hard to stay focused on long-term goals when it seems like life is too big or life is happening too fast. And so being able to kind of just take a step back and say, okay, that's not true. Life is not too big. Life is not coming too fast. We can handle this. What's the next thing that needs to happen? And so I've really been trying to kind of get in the mindset of going back to pre-making decisions. You know, I menu plan so I know what's for dinner every night. I don't have to wonder. Batch cooking as much as I can so that nights that I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just dragging, I have food that is easy to put together and meets all of the nutritional check marks that I'm looking for. Just those kinds of things where I'm trying to make it as easy for myself as possible without getting away from the goals that I have for myself or my family, and not just like throwing in the towel. Okay, go eat whatever you want, do whatever you want, watch as much TV as you want. Like still kind of maintaining some of those standards that I think are really important for our family. Just some other random life updates. We have a kid that is going to be baptized on Easter Sunday, which we are so pumped about. It is also his birthday. And so that is really big, exciting news coming up. Aaron and I have been we both work for a local nonprofit organization in the Dayton area where we do different things and help people in different ways. But we both have some work projects that we've been working on that will hopefully help us to serve our community better. So that is exciting and upcoming and just things that our brains have been going kind of full speed on, that hopefully will get all worked out and on paper here pretty soon. And I don't know, I mean, I have done all of the videos that Aaron challenged me to do, mission accomplished. But I may be popping back on here again more frequently just because I've now proven to myself that I can. And again, I have been so grateful for you guys watching the videos, sharing your stories with me. Just getting to share with you a little bit about being a mom and some of the decisions that we've made for our family, some of the things, why I do things the way I do, the accountability process I use, all of those things. It's been really cool to just sit down and even though these kind of feel like one-sided conversations, when I'm filming them, getting your feedback in the comments and just hearing what y'all think has just been so cool for me. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for being here today, hanging out with me, and I hope I will see you guys very soon. Bye.
Bud Liquor, our price is